Okay, so I just spent 2 hours at the house with the mold inspector, and he tested several different areas. There's so much mold in that house, and it only makes sense because it's been empty, the basement is cold and moist, and that's just a breeding ground for mold. It's all over everything, and there are different kinds of it too. And I thought that was pretty interesting. He showed me all the different kinds of mold that were growing on even on cabinets downstairs. There's a lot of mold. And even in the upstairs bathroom, there's mold inside the toilet. So there's mold all over the place. He told us to get rid of all the carpets, and that's really unfortunate because the owners put new carpets in after they left. And they haven't even really been walked on. Of course, they have been walked on by rodents. If there weren't mold, maybe that could be cleaned, but we don't want to take the risk of mold spores sprouting in different places. So I met with a mold inspection and testing company, and it was pretty interesting. Let's see, they tested the outside temperature and the humidity and the type of day and the indoor temperature. Look how cold it was. It was freezing in here. And the indoor humidity. There were so many things that he tested. And here's a picture of the sample and where it was taken. And more information. What else? I think he tested in 5 different places that day. And as it turned out, look at the picture of that door. It's pretty nasty. As it turned out, there were elevated levels of mold. They recommended professional mold remediation. Just in case you're interested, here's a little bit more information they give to you. So these were the steps for remediation that they suggest: vacating the premises, PPE equipment, containment of each of the contaminated areas, negative pressure used, HEPA vacuum, applying biocide, and removal and discarding of the contaminated materials. Oh, there's more. Restoring a damaged item, final cleaning, air scrubbers, air duct cleaning. We did do that. Final inspections, containment used during reconstruction. Here were a couple more photos that he took. There was some growth on the vent pipe, and there was moldy mover blanket. So this was hanging on one of the walls downstairs. We threw that out. Here's some basement growth on one of the doors. There was way more than that, but just that one door looked really bad. And then there was some basement growth on the insulation. And there was some toilet growth. I think he said it was different. A couple of days later, we got the results from this Northeast Environmental Microbiology Laboratories, and they analyzed the tests and sent us the results for outside. They had to test outside to compare the outside to the inside. For outside, for the basement, for the furnace room, and for the master. And what they found was that the level was 800 times higher in the basement than it should be, and 26 times higher in the master than it should be. Now, that only makes sense because, the heat was off, and the reason there was an issue in the master is because there was a window break and there was an issue with water coming in one of the windows. So the really good news was that even though there was mold in the house in different areas, the majority of the mold was in this penicillium category, and I believe that that is the same mold that grows in your refrigerator or that grows on bread. And out of all the molds that they did find, there were different types they found. None of them were dangerous molds. There was no black mold, and they were all safe molds. Now, we did have to have a remediation company come in to take care of it, and we did have the ducts cleaned, but that was really good news that none of the mold was dangerous, and from there, we just marched on.